Hello and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World, and a very happy 2025 from everybody here at Prime Sports World. And in fact, it's been so long since I've been on an episode. We actually have we have to wish people a Merry Christmas as well here at Prime Sports World. Thank you very much for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Hopefully, you're all having a fantastic 2025 so far. My name is David Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down the key matchups from week number 18. We're going to bore you to death by talking about the Titans and the Jaguars and the Colts and the Texans. We're just not talking about those games. We are talking about the games that have playoff implications. That's all I got to say about that. But yeah, continue checking us out at Prime Sports World. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and on the Huddle Sports Network. You can find that on all your Roku devices. TJ, what's good, brother? How are you, man? How's 2025 treating you so far?
Man, it was a rough end of 2024 with my personal life. I ain't gonna get into it on here, but but that being said, David said we ain't risk nobody America. Yeah, we need a break too. Damn it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. I had a pretty rough end to my 2024 too. Probably totaled my car while driving back to my parents' house on New Year's Eve. So tough.
Yeah, now we got this winter storm stuff coming. It's just like
that's coming this way to Fort Wayne too. So we got a lot to navigate, but let's talk about some football. That's what we're here to do here at Prime Sports World. And again, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And let's start with Saturday football. We got two games on Saturday, and they're both fairly relevant. First, we got the Browns and the Ravens. This game is crucial because if the Ravens win this game, they lock up the AFC North along with the number 3 seed in the AFC. If they were to fall, they do open the door for the Pittsburgh Steelers to come in and swoop the AFC North and swoop the number 3 position in the AFC. Let's talk about the Ravens. The Browns obviously coming up an abysmal season. DTR in his last game outing did not play well, and the Ravens are cooking right now. They're winners of 3 in a row, having just beat down their last couple opponents for sure. Teams that I could see in the playoffs as well. So, TJ, Ravens, Browns, who do you got? Do the Browns play spoiler?
No. I think the Ravens do what they need to do. They go in, handle business. They don't play around. They don't let the Browns build confidence and think they have a chance at winning this thing. And they go in. I think they try to get ahead so much that we see. I don't even know if he's still there. No, he's not because he's in Miami. Whoever the backup is in Baltimore, I think we see him.
Josh Johnson? Is it Josh Johnson?
I think. Hey, if I'm Baltimore, I'm coming in. Hammer to nail. Get my key guys. Get the key.
Josh Johnson is the backup.
Get the key guys. They incentives whoever needs it. So if Derrick Henry need whatever he needs, get it, get out, so on and so forth. And basically, I don't want to see my key guys playing in the second half.
I'm very much agree with you. I think Baltimore takes care of business. They've been especially dominant over the last 2 weeks, beating down Pittsburgh and Houston. And the secondary, had some major question marks, have really been fantastic over the last couple of weeks for the Baltimore Ravens. This is a game where they should be all their key contributors should be out by halftime, and they should cook the Cleveland Browns. This is a lost season. They have nothing to play for, so we'll see. But yeah, give me Baltimore to win this game and to lock up the AFC. But that decision does make the next game very interesting. The Cincinnati Bengals need to have a win in order to keep any hopes of making it to the playoffs alive. The Pittsburgh Steelers, if the Ravens have already won, they have no chance of winning the AFC North. They will be locked into that 5 seed in the AFC. Actually, I'm not 100% sure what their seeding would be. I think there's a scenario where if they win, I think they would flip-flop with the Chargers if the Chargers were to lose. We're not going to talk about the Chargers in this show because they're not really all that relevant. But the Steelers,
they are because they need to win. They win and they in.
The Chargers already locked up a playoff spot. They already clinched.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
They did.
Yeah, the
I
Chargers
thought,
when the Chargers beat Denver 2 weeks ago, they clinched the playoff spot at that point.
I thought,
But for them, though, I mean, we're just briefly talking about the Chargers, real quick. If they win and the Steelers were to lose, they would move up into the 5 seed, and that means the matchup with the Houston Texans as opposed to the Baltimore Ravens or whoever wins the AFC North. And if I'm a wild card team, I would much rather face off against the Houston Texans in the first round than the Baltimore Ravens or whoever comes out of the AFC North, whether that be Pittsburgh or Baltimore.
no, Chargers locked up their spot when they beat New England. My bad. Yeah, if you're again, but Cincinnati, Zach Taylor needs to be investigated or at least like talked to very sternly by the Cincinnati Brass because y'all have too much offensive talent to be getting out to these slow starts
Every
and
season.
it's right. It's not just it's every season. Y'all invested in the offensive line, and Joe Burrow still gets his ass kicked every season. And some of the games that y'all lost against top tier talent, y'all averaged 30 a game. So we know scoring isn't the problem. We know scoring ain't the problem. Y'all can match anybody score for score. It's almost like y'all are literally like a better version of like the 2014 Bears. Like y'all can score with anybody. You can score with anybody, but you can't stop no damn body. And inevitably, it's almost like Joe Burrow's gonna throw a pick or fumble the ball, and you're not gonna recover it, and there
Well,
goes the game. Like
now they've won 4 games in a row after losing kind of a gauntlet part of their schedule. They lost 3 games in a row. That really kind of sent them on this win and in for the rest of the way. And let me tell you, like if I'm a team if I'm an AFC team, Cincinnati is the last team I want to see make the playoffs. If I'm Buffalo and I'm sitting there at the 2 seed when I have all that locked up, I'm hoping it's anyone but the
man,
Cincinnati
no,
Bengals
look,
making
hey,
that playoff spot.
and truth be told,
And
I'm sick of that narrative. Because once again, this is a Cincinnati team that ain't won a damn thing. Why am I afraid of them?
I'm just saying I would much rather play Denver or with a rookie quarterback. I would much rather play Miami where Tua Tagovailoa is stat, especially if
Like,
it's going to be cold in Buffalo for this
like,
first.
and
Like
and and I
and not to mention Cincinnati kind of has Buffalo's number. Like they've gone up against each other. Like was it 2 times in playoffs in the last couple of years? They've lost both of those games.
think it was once, but not neither here nor there. But once again, I've never seen the team just get a pass for not winning stuff the way the Bengals do. Yes, they got Joe Burrow. Yes, they got Jamar Chase. Yes, all that stuff. Again, I've never seen the team get a pass the way for not winning the way the Bengals do. Until they actually prove it and do it, I don't want to hear nothing about them. Again, you dug yourself into this hole where you're winning in basically from like week 10 on. I don't like I'm
So swinging back into this matchup, who do you got winning the game? Bengals, Steelers, in Acrisure Stadium.
and on the Pittsburgh side, they are truly two different teams. Like they are like it's the team with George Pickens is like, hey, we can beat anybody. And the team without George Pickens, it's like we can win this one, but damn it, we gotta be perfect. It's George Pickens playing on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he came back and played that game. But
So
the thing is, this game, if Baltimore wins in that game earlier on Saturday, the Steelers don't really have anything to play for. I mean, I guess obviously they can still fall out of that 5 seed and drop down to 6. But I mean, is that really worth trying to risking an injury to a key contributor?
Absolutely. Like, well, obviously, like if you're the wild card, if you're a wild card team, I understand that you're gonna run into one of the upper echelons eventually, but it's just a matter of pick your poison. Who do you feel more comfortable going into the wild card weekend against? Right? Like, because eventually, like you're gonna run into a Baltimore, you're gonna run into a Buffalo, you're gonna run into a Kansas City at some point. But what you want to do is you want to take the path of less resistance. I know I'm gonna face those guys at some point. Who can I avoid? You're trying. That's who. That's the game
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
trying to play.
If I can get Houston in the first round, that's the route I want to go.
Exactly.
But so Pittsburgh, regardless of that scenario with Baltimore, they have to win this game, and the Chargers would have to lose to the Raiders later on Sunday in
and
order.
not to mention, this is a divisional rival. Like, hey, Pittsburgh, yeah, hey, since
I mean, it's week 18. All the matchups are divisional rivals. So,
like if you're Cincinnati, if you're Pittsburgh, Cincy, F y'all. Like, no, y'all ain't getting in on my dime. No.
with that being said, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they have the better. I haven't really enjoyed watching the Pittsburgh Steelers play football the last 3 weeks
I'm
as they've been
going
in this kind of.
Pittsburgh for this. I'm going Pittsburgh for the simple fact, just like what you like, because Pittsburgh they gonna win this game. It ain't gonna be pretty. They gonna and that's what like how you said, like, hey, they winning games and it ain't pretty. It's a boring style of football. It's not pretty. They gonna I can just see it now. They gonna frustrate the hell out of some people. TJ Watt gonna have a day, and if you're a Bengals fan, just imagine this: you are literally, what's their record?
They're
Cincinnati,
8-8.
8-8. Put it this way, Bengals fans, you're 4 wins away from sweeping every major award. You're 4. You win 12 games. Your coach, you have the coach of the year, you have the MVP, you have the offensive player of the year, and you probably have the DPOI. You're sweeping 4 out of the however many major awards there are. I would be frustrated if I'm a Bengals fan.
Moving on from there, swinging into Sunday football. Let's talk about the 2 NFC South matchups together. So first we got the Carolina Panthers going into Atlanta, taking on the Falcons. And then we got the Saints going into the Pirate Ship, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If Tampa Bay wins, they lock up the NFC South. That's all she wrote. The Falcons need to have a win and the Buccaneers loss. Who wins the South?
The Buccaneers. No, okay. So, all right. So, Michael Penix again. I disagree with the whole situation of how the Falcons handled this. It's just it explains why they are where they are right now. Like, they haven't had a steady quarterback play since Matt Ryan decided to take his talents elsewhere. You paid Kirk Cousins $150 million, and now you're going to have to turn around and cut him after you drafted Michael Penix in the first round last draft. Then you sit Michael Penix till week 16, and then you're basically like, all right, kid, go win us the division. We have these are the 3 most important games of the season. You need to win all of them, and you're 1-1. Right, you're 1-1. You had a decent game against Washington, but again, that's unfair to thrust to thrust Michael Penix in that situation and be like, all right, go win. And now this is it. Like, this is the most important game. It's like, you need to win this one. I like what I'm seeing out of Carolina down the stretch. It's like, hey, we ain't got nothing to play for, but damn it. Yeah, hey, if I can't go, y'all.
We're playing that spoiler role. Let's go. I think Bryce Young. I agree with you. I think Tampa Bay gets in, but I do think Atlanta's going to win that game against Carolina. But the Tampa Bay is just, the Saints are a mess. Like, I don't know if you've seen them play the last 2 weeks. They get embarrassed on Monday Night Football by the Green Bay Packers, and then they get beat to hell by the Las Vegas Raiders last week. I know we didn't get to do a recap show this particular week, but man, the Saints are a disaster. Tampa Bay should beat them by halftime. I just hope like Mike Evans can get those 81 yards, whatever he needs in order to get to 1,000. And they better just force feed him the football just so he gets those numbers, man. I don't want to see him lose that record. Tampa Bay's getting in, as much as it pains me to say, because I have been an Atlanta Falcon bandwagon supporter. Tampa Bay is the better football team, and they're getting
because I'm glad you said that, because this is. Man, I think the year you don't pick the Falcons to win the division is the year they're gonna win it.
They're going to the Super Bowl.
And for those who listen to this and watch this, like, David has picked the Falcons for the better part of what, 4 years now. in a row, by the way. Like this is like he picked them when Brady went to Tampa and all that other good stuff. And he's just like, yeah, because Atlanta's talented, and that's the frustrating part. They have talented rosters too, and they just for whatever reason they just can't get out of their own way. And again, I just think it's just so unfair to put Michael Penix in this position, because if he loses, say he loses this game, say he loses to the Panthers, say the Falcons fall on Sunday to the Panthers, and you miss out, you're out, you're done, right? And you're gonna be looking back on it like, yeah, Kirk Cousins had a terrible stretch where he threw 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions, but at the same time, then you go to Michael Penix, and then you go 1-3 during that. Well, yeah, 1-2 during that stretch, and it's almost like, was it really any better? Did it really make that much of a difference switching quarterbacks? And the answer is going to be no, because what you're saying out of Michael Penix, you definitely could have kept Kirk Cousins in there and gotten the same result.
Yeah, but I think when it's all said and done, I think Tampa Bay will be the playoff team representing the NFC South. How far they go in the playoffs, we're going to talk about later. Moving on from there, we're swinging into the late afternoon window. Let's start in Mile High, as the Kansas City Chiefs have made the decision to bench a majority of their starters. Carson Wentz will be under center as they take on the Denver Broncos, who have to win this game in order to make the playoffs. Do they make the playoffs? And do you think what do you think happens here with Denver and the Kansas City Chiefs? As the Kansas City Chiefs have locked up the number 1 seed, they got nothing to play for. They will be resting their starters.
I think Denver gets in on the technicalities. Just like you said, Kansas City ain't playing nobody worth of significance. Like Chris Jones ain't playing, Pacheco ain't playing, Mahomes ain't playing.
Hopkins ain't playing. Hopkins ain't
DeAndre
playing.
Hopkins, Xavier
Nick Bolton is probably
Nick
playing.
Bolton. I legit think now. Granted, Denver's like, hey, I don't give a damn. Hey,
they don't care. Like, hey, if we step a playoff drought that's lasted since 2018, we'll take it. We don't care how we have to get in.
Right. On the Denver side, I don't give a damn. To have Bo Nix, who started the whole season at Atlanta, to have him and go from where they started to where they are now. Also, people, don't tell us coaching don't matter, because Bo Nix has Sean Payton, and look where they are. Caleb Williams has what he has, and yeah, this notion of, real quick, David, just like, do you see the people saying that the Bears will be in the playoffs with Jaden Daniels? Do you see?
We would not.
Thank you. But yeah, Denver to snap that playoff drought. This is one of those leagues, like the NFL is the league that when certain teams are better, it's a better league. Denver is absolutely one of those teams that when they're good, the NFL is better.
Yep.
Because it's not like I understand Denver's not a New York or Chicago or in terms of that lore, but damn it, that's a proud city, that's a proud fan base. And when Denver's good, like we saw it, like Peyton Manning had that place rocking. Like it was a beautiful sight to see, and that's the one thing that they haven't had. Like they've had a revolving door at quarterback too, and you hope they figure this shit out with Bo Nix. And yeah, like, hey, go in, get the play. And I hate it's come down to this because they've had chances to win and been in already.
I mean, they've had an opportunity the last 3 weeks. If they beat the Chargers, if they beat the Chargers, they're in the playoffs. If they beat Cincinnati, they would have made the playoffs. Now they have to come down to their hated rival, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they got to beat them in order to make the playoffs.
And your saving grace is, like you said, Kansas City has absolutely nothing to play for, so they're sitting their most important players, and Denver's like, hey, now if we don't win this one, then goddamn it, hey,
God doesn't want us to make the playoffs ever again. Yeah, I don't know if you know that, but I watch a lot of That Good Sports. He's a YouTuber. He is a big time Denver Broncos fan, and for the sake of him as a YouTuber, I just hope the Denver Broncos make the playoffs because that guy's been through a lot. Like if you watch his YouTube channel over the last few years, man, it's been nothing but pain and suffering. So just for Brandon Perna and That's Good Sports, I hope Denver wins this game. I actually think they will win the game, which makes all the Cincinnati
I'm with
Bengals.
you. I'm with you.
Which makes all the Cincinnati Bengals stuff that we talked about earlier in the show kind of irrelevant because they won't make the playoffs. Denver will win this game. From there, as this game's happening at the same time, we got the Miami Dolphins who need a Denver loss, and then they have to beat the Jets in what could be Aaron Rodgers' final game in the National Football League. I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I have no idea what to expect out of Aaron Rodgers at this point, and like I'm not sure what his future is in the NFL. If this is it for him, this will be one of the most disappointing seasons by a player on their last ride, like ever that I can ever remember.
You can argue that in terms of team success, having team success, this is one of the most underachieving individuals ever in terms like when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Like again, like he's the football version of LeBron James to the Bears. Like what LeBron James and the Cavs were to the Bulls, like we just could never get over that hump. Like no matter how good we thought the Bulls were, inevitably they were going to run into a LeBron James-led team and they were going to lose. Whether it be 5 games, 6 games, or 7 games, they were going to lose. No matter how good we thought the Bears teams were, inevitably they were going to run into Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers was going to make a throw that should have been picked off, but it wasn't. Should have been sacked, but he wasn't. He was going to make a play that broke our hearts, but on the flip side of that is, yeah, you beat us, congratulations, but go beat someone who can match your go. And for whatever reason, he just couldn't do it. Like this is a dude who's going to retire with a 4-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That's never going to be done again. I don't know what Pat Mahomes is on that.
Yeah, he's not in that stratosphere.
Like, bro, like, I don't think people understand how good that is. Like, there was a point in time where Aaron Rodgers had 480 some passing touchdowns, and he still didn't have 100 career interceptions. That's that's unfucking heard of. And you just hate to see it because he won so early and he won super early in his career, won the Super Bowl, won MVP and all that other good stuff, like by like his 3rd or 4th year in the league, like his 5th year in the league, and to never get back to that Super Bowl is just, it has to be super frustrating. And for him to go from that to what he is now, like first things first, like Aaron Rodgers has always been this quote unquote enigma. Like this, I'm smarter than you, I'm the smartest guy in the room type person. And eventually you get tired of that. You get tired of being around that person. Like Green Bay put up with it because we're winning 12 games a year, we're going to the playoffs, And all of a sudden it's like, you know what? This motherfucker ain't worth the headache he's causing me.
Yeah. And I think the Jets are starting to find that out now.
And the Jets found that out the Jets found that out quicker than Green Bay did, because like the first year it's like, all right, we get a pass because he tore his Achilles 4 snaps into the new season. This is a wash. And then the next season comes around and it's like, all right, we're gonna get you we're gonna get you. You want Hackett? All right, we got him. You want Robert Saleh fired? He's gone. You want your best friend?
They did all that stuff to like do that like dramatic introduction to Devontae Adams during that stupid Pat McAfee segment. They won like 1 game after that.
And like, right, you want your best friend in Devontae Adams? We'll go get him. You want to do Pat McAfee interviews during the season? By the way, you can do it. And like not. you do all that to finish worse than what you had with Zach Wilson. You
Yeah.
ostracize Garrett Wilson, who's probably going to demand a trade the minute he can, the minute the new league year rolls around. Because hey, where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and you can see it on the sideline. Like he's frustrated. He's done. Like
Yeah.
I think he wants to be anywhere but the New York Jets. The Dolphins are going to win this game. But at the same time, like, bro, I don't care about y'all beat the hell. Like, I really don't care. Like, hey, yeah, you goddamn right. I'm finna be a scavenger in this, and I'm going to pick what's left of the New York Jets and just punt y'all season into the sun.
I don't know who the starting quarterback is for the Miami Dolphins is going to be. It's probably going to be Tyler Huntley. And based on what I saw on him this most recent Sunday, I'm not still with that much confidence that this is going to be an entertaining football game or even like remotely high scoring. if whoever gets the 10 points first might be the winner. After what I saw, after what I saw on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets against Buffalo, and then what I saw Tyler Huntley and the Dolphins. But moving on, let's talk about the game.
To in that Buffalo game for Aaron, like when it got to, I forgot what it was.
40 to nothing at one point.
But I think that's when it got to 40 to nothing. He pulled himself to you should probably go with Tyrod. Like he goes to the color, he's probably going like, nah, bro, this is your mess. You finish. You go out there and finish.
Anyways, moving on for the game of the year potentially. So this is the first time since 1993 where the winner of a final regular season matchup would not only win a division but also lock up a number one seed in that division. Number one in the conference since 1993, where Emmitt Smith had that torn rotator cuff in that game against the Giants, and he still ran for like 230 yards. I think it was in whatever the name of the stadium the Giants used to play in, and they ended up becoming the one seed. And the Giants that season fell all the way to 5. Or it might have been 4 actually. I think there were only 3 divisions at the time. That is the same scenario that we are looking right down the barrel of this upcoming Sunday Night Football. The Minnesota Vikings, who I cannot remember the last time they lost a football game, going into Detroit and taking on the Lions in a winner-takes-all grunge match. Also, this is the most amount of wins between 2 regular season opponents in the history of the league.
Yeah, think about it though. Imagine winning 13, 14 games and you're the
fucking, I mean, like the crazy thing is like you win 14 games and you're not even going to get to host a playoff game potentially until there's a scenario where you don't host a playoff game you're going to win 14 games and not host a playoff game. Like, what is that?
That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. But let's talk about it. I mean, the Lions, their secondary is a little bit banged up. I mean, this Minnesota Vikings team is absolutely rolling right now. They have a little bit of the momentum coming into this matchup as the Lions, they banged, like the secondary hasn't been super banged up. And we saw against San Francisco, like they're giving up points in games.
Yeah, their saving grace is they played a San Fran team who is, I ain't gonna say not as beat up, but Brock Purdy is again, you want to we didn't do the recap show this past week, but if you're the San Francisco 49ers, go ahead and give Brock Purdy $60 million a year if you want to. Please do it. like if I'm the Lions, if I'm the upper echelon of the NFC conference, and you want to play you want to pay Brock Purdy that? Okay, yeah, please do that. Be my guest. Minnesota is like, again, we don't care that you're beat to hell. Lions fans, if you lose this game and you drop to the wild card spot and you inevitably get ousted early in the playoffs, you know what the rest of the NFL fans don't want to hear? Your injury excuses. You want to know why? Because you run your mouth like y'all been here before, and you haven't. Y'all have easily turned into the most hateable fan base
I love the Detroit Lion fan base. Actually, I work with a bunch of them here in Fort Wayne, but I do enjoy the Detroit Lion fan base.
Like no,
But Minnesota this season, like we all kind of thought that this defense was good. Brian Flores has completely rejuvenized this defensive front. They are allowing the fourth fewest points per game. This is a Minnesota team that's just straight up good. Like they're a good football team, and they could beat you in a number of ways. I am a little bit concerned about the Aaron Jones injury. I don't think it's anything remotely serious. I think he should be able to go, but they have two other good running backs on this team. So even if he's limited in this game, it doesn't do anything for this offense for Minnesota.
And once again, coaching matters. Like people called Sam Darnold a bust. It took Sam Darnold a minute to find his footing. Sam Darnold has played so fucking well this season. It's rumored that the Vikings are fielding trade talks for J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah. A guy who was a first round pick last year, they're going to talk about trading him away.
They're talking about trading him away.
Sam Darnold's about to get a bag this offseason.
Bag.
Like he's going to be making $40 million a year next year somewhere.
Like don't sit here and tell us coaching doesn't matter. Like Kevin O'Connell got his hands on Sam, and not just Kevin O'Connell, Josh McCown, who spent a million years in the NFL, by the way, is the quarterback's coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Like, bro, think about that quarterback room, and there's nothing that Josh McCown hasn't seen that he hasn't done already. And he can teach anybody anything. Minnesota, I got Minnesota winning this game because, again, Detroit's just beat the hell. Like, eventually the injuries catch up to you. And for Stephen A. Smith to be like, oh, Sam Darnold hasn't thrown for 300 yards since the first Chicago game. Who cares?
Okay.
They're winning.
When was the last time they even lost a game? Like,
Sam Darnold's never been in this position before. And what's his name? And Jared Goff has been so stellar in his playoff career.
I mean, the Vikings haven't lost a game since the Ram game in week 7. Yeah, 7. That is like 3 months ago. They haven't lost a game in 3 months.
Like Sam Darnold. Oh, Sam Darnold's never been in it. We've never seen Sam Darnold in this position. Yeah, because Jared Goff absolutely lights it up when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, be real. Like,
yeah, so three months. I for the sake of all of my Detroit Lion friends here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, I will take Detroit because I don't want to see my sad coworkers on Monday. But I will tell you, I would not be surprised in the slightest if Minnesota pulled this game out and won, because they're on paper, like right now is currently constructed, they're a better football team than Detroit. Like this Minnesota Vikings team can beat you in a myriad of ways. They can throw the football, they can run the football, they can get after the quarterback, and they can play good defense. I mean, was it Carlton Murphy is his name? One of the starting corners in the Pro Bowl. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, and Lions fans like Kirby Joseph leads the league in interception. Hey, I love Kirby Joseph. U of I, he was a headhunter at U of I. He a headhunter in the NFL. Hey, so I got love for Kirby Joseph from the Illinois pipeline. But usually when the player has a lot of picks, that means that they're throwing his way because they don't feel he's a real coverage threat. Right? Like if you have usually like you want a DB that don't get a lot of picks because they're not throwing his way. So like Jalen Johnson made the Pro Bowl. Jalen Johnson maybe got 2 interceptions on the whole season. You want to know why? Because teams don't throw Jalen Johnson's direction.
It's a starting quarter in the Pro Bowl. But yeah, with that being said, I'm taking the Lions to win this game. That's kind of more going with my heart over my head because I do think Minnesota is the better football team. But we'll see. We'll see who ends up checking this out, as Sunday Night Football should be a doozy, should be a barn burner. Hopefully you're going to have your wings.
But I dead ass expect outside of, so just looking at the whole weekend, because ain't no there's no Monday night game this week because this is it. I legit don't think people legit are probably gonna watch what they gonna watch. They gonna watch the Ravens game just to see what
I
happens
mean,
with that.
I think they're going to watch the Steelers game.
They're gonna watch. Yeah, they gonna watch the Steelers Bengals. On top of the fact, it's Saturday. Both college football ain't really. I don't think that there might be some bowl games tomorrow, but they're not the ones that people particularly care about. And then come Sunday, bro, this might be like I'm gonna have to look this up. This might be the lowest rated Sunday NFL Sunday.
That's because there's really not a lot of stakes. I mean, I didn't talk about some other games, but like the Commanders and Packers could both flip flop their positions in the NFC, depending if the Commanders and Packers respectively win their games. The Eagles have decided to bench Saquon Barkley against the New York Giants, so that kind of takes that gravitas, that gravity out of that game. I mean, they must have gone with him and talked to him about it though, because I'm sure if he really wanted to play in that game and try to get to the record.
They're already saying that he absolutely wanted to play in this game. It's one of those like, all right, we're choosing the ring over the record. Hey, and when you say that, you know what you better do. You better win that goddamn ring.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that game, and then there's not really a lot in the late afternoon window. I mean, the Rams already locked up everything. The Cardinals and the 49ers aren't playing for anything. The Chargers, as I mentioned earlier in the show, they can potentially move up to the 5 seed, but we're not going to talk about that as much because we don't care about the Raiders. This is really about the 7 games that we highlighted in this game. These are the ones that people are going to watch. These are the ones that have real stakes when it comes to week number 18.
And if you're the Giants, and so if you're the Giants, if you're the Jags, if you're the Patriots, the Panthers, the Titans, the Bears, you're basically playing for what? Draft capital, not draft stock.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I was working on something at work earlier today, and I had some free time. And so even if the Bears were to lose, like I'll tell you a scenario, like just real quick. So let's say we're having a scenario where the Jaguars win, the Titans win, the Patriots win, the Giants win, the Raiders win. The Jets win because those are all the teams that have and the Bears end up losing. The Bears could still only get the 5th pick in the draft because of like some kind of crazy tiebreaker that's like strength of schedule. Like I figured like we would be ahead of the Patriots because we lost to them head to head. That's not the case.
Because
it's like strength of schedule is like for some reason that matters more than individual matchups in draft order. I've never really known that before, or like if that's something new. It's just
real talk. Like I haven't really heard like the strength of schedule argument like really up until this year, and it's almost like. So it puts me in the mind of like this that point differential stuff that you always used to bring up. I'm like, bro, why does that fucking matter? Like what? Like why do y'all like? I'm not talking about you or people. I'm like, why does the NFL or these leagues in general always find different ways to just somehow move the goalposts for certain teams?
Like you think if you're the Bears and you have the same record as the Patriots and they beat us head to head, we would have a pick. We would be a higher draft pick or lower draft pick than the Patriots. That's not the case. Like they would still have a better draft pick than us. They would have the first overall pick, I think, in that scenario. And the highest we can go to is 5. Which irks my soul. But anyways, thank you very much for joining us. This has been our Week 18 preview and predictions. As we talked about the matchups that were irrelevant as it comes to the playoff seeding. We're going to be back here tomorrow doing Fantasy Football Weekly because I know some people still play fantasy, and you got to have your lineup set up for that final week of the regular season if you hope to win that title. And then we'll be back here next week with our normal schedule. We're going to do our preview and prediction or our recap show on Monday, our preview show on Tuesday. We're going to give you our final predictions for awards on Wednesday. So you don't want to miss any of that content. Thank you very much for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. And TJ.
And this is from the AP, the Associated Press. Vikings rule edge rusher. Which Jones? So if you're an edge rusher for the Minnesota Vikings, Patrick Jones, he ain't playing against the Lions, but the Lions also list Anzalone as questionable. So those 2 dudes might not be playing.
Well, he's coming off IR, so it was kind of if he was going to play or not. So
Anzalone,
I think he was coming off IR. So
That was from the Associated Press. Like that was literally not posted like 2 minutes ago. So yeah. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, TJ, what do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, and we need it because
we for sure do need it. Let's go. We'll be back here tomorrow. You all have a good night. Stay safe out there and have a fantastic weekend and enjoy that NFL action. And here's a message from our sponsor over there at the Huddle Sports Network. We'll see you all later and take it easy. Peace out, TJ.
See you, man.
Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.